When there's something in your nature that makes you sit and dream of the wind among the pine trees and the murmuring of a stream. When that something keeps a calling till you feel you want to go. Start your journey. Travel westward to the land called Idaho.
His name was Robert Limbert. By the age of 40, he had explored and named hundreds of lakes and peaks in the wilds of Idaho, 35 years after the Idaho Territory became a state. He rose to become Idaho's most noted promoter of her wide-open spaces and scenic beauty in the 20th century. With his camera and typewriter, he would change the way Americans viewed Idaho. What began in 1920 as a 17-day trek across the unmapped lava flows of central Idaho would become his greatest achievement. His explorations and promotion of this mysterious volcanic region led to the creation of Craters of the Moon, Idaho's first national monument. He spent summers photographing and writing about the Idaho interior, and the winters touring eastern cities recounting his adventures before crowded auditoriums. Limbert built a lodge on the shores of Redfish Lake in Idaho's Sawtooth Mountains for tourists that he inspired to experience Idaho. His trick shooting brought him national recognition and earned him the nickname Two-Gun Bob.
That's the pictures that I have in my mind of my dad, who was practicing his pistols. That's the only way I can remember him, is just practicing his shooting.
Limbert lived a life beyond the wildest dreams of most men, but after his sudden death in 1933, his work was all but forgotten. His collection of thousands of photographs, manuscripts, newspaper articles, paintings, and drawings collected dust in the basement of his daughter's home in Boise. Sadly, all of his motion picture film, except for 10 frames, disappeared shortly after his death, reportedly stolen from his collection. More than 70 years would pass before these artifacts of his life were discovered again, opening up a window to the early 20th century and a very talented explorer who loved the state of Idaho.
When you think about who is important in Idaho's history, almost nobody comes to mind. If you say Lewis and Clark, well, that's true, and they came through northern Idaho, but for most of Idaho, nobody comes to mind. And I think as people learn more and more about the life of this man, they're going to see that he was fascinating, if nothing else, and he really was a true historic figure.